Booyah, and it's time for the Game Sports Show. It is your host, David McCaig, inside ONNtv Studios. We appreciate you stopping by for another action-packed edition of the Game Sports Show. Either if you're hearing us through ONNtv, through YouTube, or in our new website, I must shout out here, thegamesportshow.com. Either way, very happy that you're able to join us. I'm here joined, as always, by the Alex Parr. Ooh. No tie, Alex Parr.
Yeah, we're loose cannons today.
I know, same as last week. You finally got the memo to follow along.
You don't have glasses though. So.
I didn't. I took my glasses off. I actually put the contacts on.
I'm just too blind for that.
I like that. But here's the thing. We were actually debating about something off air, and I'm going to spend 30 seconds saying this quick. Why is it always just one button on a suit and tie? I'd rather wear the double button.
It's just, I don't know. I don't make the style rules. Actually, I was gonna say follow them, but I'm actually doing two because of the wire today. So.
I know they can't really see it, but I like wearing the two. It makes me seem more, let's say, in shape. My body seems more tight. Because, after as your age elevates, your body follows along, but in the worst way.
After the Super Bowl parties, all those wings and chips and stuff like that, all the beers.
It was awesome. The pizza, the wings, and that Super Bowl, the halftime show was great. It had me sweating. There was a lot of things going on there. The Super Bowl is having me going. The Super Bowl. We'll talk about that later on the show. We obviously have here at the opener. We're going to be talking about a little bit of Brad Jacobs. We're going to be talking about the NHL. We're also going to be talking about the Toronto Maple Leafs. We're going to be talking about the Raptors. We're going to be talking overall NBA update. We got a local roundup, and of course to end the show, because it transitions us nicely into our Wednesday show tomorrow night.
As always,
it will be our In the Pocket segment. But in this opener too, in this kind of the first segment show, we're going to be jumping into something kind of serious with it is very serious, and say kind of minor hockey seeing increase in racial slurs.
Right. Yeah. This was kind of surprising for me to see on the rundown.
It was. It's different. We did talk about it yesterday on ESPN 1400. You can check that out on our website for all the ones. But the racial slurs and language in minor hockey is something that is absolutely huge. And overall, this was something that I will jump into a bit later on in the show that I want to make sure was kind of headlined on this part. But we'll jump in right now and say congratulations to Brad Jacobs and Team Brad Jacobs. A provincial win for the boys. Absolutely cleaning house and clearing guards, if you will.
Sure, yeah, okay.
They did a very great job. Obviously, Brad is no stranger to our show, as is Team Jacobs. He's been on the show 3 times, and after each time he's won 3 times, so a little coincidence, man. And we're going to have Brad on in the very near future as well to get and talk about that, because he has a very high chance of winning the Brier this year. I'm knocking on wood as well.
Yeah.
You know what? But the boys are looking good. The chemistry with himself and Mark is fantastic.
The boys are on fire, man. The boys are just on fire.
And everyone out there that they're like the villains of curling, they embrace that, and I love it. I think they are the villains of curling. People don't like how they celebrate as much as they do and how passionate they are. That's the Sioux in us. Okay, that's how we are.
I also think it'll be with the younger curlers making more of an impact as curling goes on. I think you'll see a little bit more personality thrown into the sport.
Definitely. Now, overall, congratulations to Brad Jacobs and Team Brad Jacobs. We'll get into some more discussion with them once we know their schedule going forward and when they're on the show. But right now, we're going to be jumping into our hockey talk here. With the hockey talk. As I give a little pause there, because there's a lot to talk about. I want to collect my breath and thoughts. Battle of Alberta is where I'll start.
Right.
Okay. Goalie fights.
Oof.
Overall fights.
Lots
Nugent
of fights.
Hopkins, Monahan fighting.
The intensity.
You got Nurse was actually pointing.
Yeah.
That he was pointing at Talbot. That would be pointing at Talbot, pointing down at Smith. It was Mike Smith.
Telling Talbot, pointing down the ice, saying, "Get down there. Time to go. Take the glove and the blocker off and throw some hands."
Yes.
And Talbot got his worked in big time.
He did.
Yeah.
It did. And Mike Smith is a tough guy. Everyone knows that. Older guy, but a lot of strength. The Battle of Alberta's back. You didn't really see that with the Battle of Ontario last Saturday. I'll tell you that right now.
Nobody cares about the Battle of Ontario. Nobody cares about the Battle of Ontario.
No one does. But the Battle of Alberta is in full-fledged, and I want to see this as a playoff matchup. For some reason, I want to see. I don't know if both teams are going to make it. We've still got 29 to 33 games left in the season. So we'll see what team makes it and what team doesn't if they both do. But if they do, I want to see that as a playoff matchup. Don't you?
I mean, how could you not? They're already bringing the playoff intensity in the regular season games. So if you transition that with the stakes as high as they can be during the playoffs, woof! Yeah, I hope to see some fights in the playoffs.
I think you're going to see more and more brawls. The referee's going to have to get more staff on the ice to
Gotta
get
get
that
Wes
covered.
McCauley out there.
Definitely. Now, I want to say the Dustin Byfuglien's what I want to jump into right now.
Okay.
Okay. Dustin Byfuglien, this will kind of round into our Canadian team and updated reaction, the kind of segment that we want to jump into. Dustin Byfuglien. Okay, here's a guy that hasn't played all year, injured his ankle. I don't know how serious the ankle injury is. Obviously, he suffered it during the 2018-2019 season. As you can see on our graphic, over 500 points in just under 900 games. There's a guy that last year, 31 points in 42 games before getting hurt, +4 rating. He's a Stanley Cup champion. He's actually been loyal to the organization of Winnipeg when you think about it, because first off, people remember, where he started after Chicago, he was in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Then Atlanta turned into Winnipeg. So Dustin Byfuglien's a right-hand shot defenseman. He's 6'5", 6'4".
6'5", 260.
Yeah, that's a pretty big weight. And when he's in the offseason, he's probably 290. Okay, he's a big guy. But this guy's contract is going to most likely, it seems like it's going to be terminated. And we will know about confirmation with that either today, tomorrow, Thursday, in the next couple days. By the end of the week, for sure, we'll know something with Dustin if what's going to happen with his contract, if it's for sure going to be mutually terminated. But that's where it seems like the direction is going to go, which makes him a free agent. And he is eligible to sign somewhere, Alex. And you're sitting there saying, nah.
No. Like you said, the guy's 6'5", 260 in the offseason. Ooh, I can't imagine him slimming down at all. So I just don't think in a league now that is so fast that you can just go, all right, you haven't played for 6 months, have fun going up against these kids that are in full-fledged playoff fighting mode. There's no way.
And he's over 30. He's not young. Per se.
There's no way that he's going to be able to keep up. Now, some people might say, well, what about Justin Williams? He was able to come back and not playing the first half of the season. Justin Williams is 184 pounds. That's a lot less weight that guy's got to leg around the ice.
Skating. He always skated. He practiced with Carolina before he came back. He got the rhythm back.
Right now, Dustin Byfuglien, he may be skating during the offseason, but I don't know. I don't think he can come back this season. I think if he wants to get serious about it, he's got to start working on it now for next season.
And everyone that I see is Maple Leafs tags everywhere. Are you kidding me right now? It's not going to happen. Okay, unless he signs for $700,000, which, trust me, he's not. I wouldn't even know if I'd want him because of the case, but if you're a Leaf fan. But where do I see Dustin going? I'm going to disagree with Alex. He is going to go somewhere this year.
No chance.
And I don't know. I just got the big B in my head. I don't know if it's because Boston's in my head, but it just seems like Boston Bruins just fits the style for Dustin Byfuglien. You got Brandon Carlo there. You got Zdeno Chara. Why not add another big defenseman?
Yeah, why not add another lug on defense, a pylon that can't move his feet? Oh, yeah, we got Chara there. Let's just get a little smaller Chara who can't skate, and let's see how that works.
And he also likes the New York life. Maybe the Islanders are a team for him. A team that's kind of going on out.
General managers, listen to me right now. Do not sign him until you have seen his conditioning, because it's going to be bad, if I have to guess.
Well, if he signs somewhere, it's going to be for a team that's in the playoffs. If he wants to go anywhere, it's because he's going to want to win a cup. He's going to be a big part of that run. And to be a big part of that run, gets him paid next year. So that's kind of the run, that mentality that Byfuglien's going to have.
Yeah, he's going to be a big part of any team, but more literally and then in the figurative sense.
Well, overall, that's the Winnipeg Jets, who, without the Byfuglien, open up a lot of cap space.
Oh, huge.
And with the trade deadlines coming right around the corner, the 24th of February, we're expecting a lot of activity. And at the end of the day, you have the Winnipeg Jets now. They're going to open up money. I know they've been tied to Matt Dumba. I know Leaf fans don't want to hear that, because the Leafs have also been tied to Matt Dumba. Okay? But they've also been tied to Josh Manson, much like the Toronto Maple Leafs have been tied to Josh Manson as well.
If you're a right-handed defenseman with an expiring contract or 2 years left on your deal, you've been tied to the Leafs.
Yeah, literally, you have. Now, the Jets are in a mode where they kind of want to make a move at the deadline. I know they will. Kevin Cheveldayoff is a guy who's been an active general manager. So I can see them being buyers. Vancouver, buyers. Calgary, Edmonton, I think they're buyers. Toronto, obviously, I still think they're buyers, despite what happened in the third period against the Florida Panthers. Montreal Canadiens, sorry, you're sellers. And the Ottawa Senators, you are sellers. So overall, you have the kind of the Canadian demographic is a lot of positivity in the market, okay? And that's what the whole reaction with that is the Jets need defense, the Leafs need defense, Calgary, they need kind of a touch of every little thing. I think Edmonton needs more offense, Tyler Toffoli, in my opinion. And then you got Ottawa, Montreal, who are just like, let's sell and capitalize on the value that we have. Jean-Gabriel Pajot and also Kovalchuk if you're Montreal. I still think he's a guy who's going to get moved. But you got Canadian teams that are kind of more buyers and sellers right now.
I think the one team that needs to make sure they are busy on what seemingly is going to be a very dead and boring Calgary Flames. Calgary Flames are sitting in the number 1 wildcard spot for the West right now with a negative 17 goal differential.
Oh, that's not bad.
That's awful. You're right. Thank you for correcting me on that. That's terrible. Now, I know there's lots of reports of maybe Brody or somebody like that on their defensive core being traded. Yeah. No, Calgary, leave all your defensemen. You got to add somebody else that's not named Dustin Byfuglien. You have to do something.
No, you have to. And the whole thing is at the end of the deadline. Sorry, get that out.
Very good, Dave.
Okay.
Very good.
At the end of the deadline, there's going to be a lot. I think people's going to get to be boring. I think there's going to be movement. There's going to be a lot of hockey trades. I don't think it's going to be like, oh, we got 85 trades today. No, you might have only 50 trades, 40 trades total, 30 trades total, whatever it may be. But you're going to have deals that are hockey deals. They're actually going to be good trades, I think. And if you're selling, sell at top value. If you have a defenseman, look at what New Jersey got for Adam Larson. That's where you got to look at. And I'm sorry if you're if you're a fellow Toronto fan, you may not want to hear that the value for defensemen are high, but that's just the way that it is. Mm-hmm. Okay? Now, I know we did promise, we're talking about the racial slur incidents and all that in minor hockey, and promise we went a little bit extra with our Canadian team roundup and Dustin Byfuglien, etc. Mm-hmm. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we will dive into that. So don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the Game Sports Show. Dave, Alex, last we checked, still here for part 2 of the Game Sports Show. Now, it's a continuance in segment 1 with some more general hockey talk, but we're going to focus it towards a more Northern Ontario perspective. And I know we mentioned the racial slurs, kind of the sexual, kind of chirps, if you want to say it that way, harassment and kind of hockey. There's a lot of things going on in it. It's more than quadrupled in incidents in minor hockey. And last night on our ESPN 1400 show, which was aired on Monday, we had this more in discussion. So if you want to hear more thorough details than of me reading 3 paragraphs of notes, I'm not going to do that, obviously. But I kind of want to jump into a full kind of situation on our side with it. But in the NOHA, NOJ Executive Director Jason Marchand said 17 penalties have been dished out during the 2019-2020 year, with 2 months of hockey to go. And that's because of some racial slurs and misconduct penalties for discriminatory slurs that have more than quadrupled was the words that he used. So there's the racial slurs, the sexual orientation is the word that I was looking for at the beginning. For those kind of penalties are being thrown around the league in scruffles or just from the bench or kind of just on the ice in the middle of a game when someone maybe gets hit, stuff like that. And this is a concern. Obviously, I'll tell you that from a minor hockey perspective in sports, I'd be lying to you if I didn't say something that was not kind to another player when I was playing, okay? And I'm not going to say some of the words that I used, obviously, because it falls right under all this. It happens, okay? But you learn from your mistakes. You learn from what you did, okay? But now to hear that it's more than quadrupled, based on a time where I was in hockey where chirping was at its prime. Like, to yell at somebody, you were cool. Like, for doing that at my time. It wasn't frowned upon unless you said something extremely inappropriate. Yeah. Okay, but now this happening more in youth hockey, Alex, and and this is Northern Ontario. This isn't even counting the United States further into Canada.
And now what I'm hoping from this is that the tolerance on the ref side is lowering, where they have heard these things before, and now this just gotten to the point where it's 2020. These are just things that you just can't say, right? So hopefully it's the referees trying to take hold in the game a little bit sooner, not letting these players run their mouths and letting them get away with a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And hopefully they're only calling it now because it's been this apparent for this long. Now really only the penalties are being dished out.
See, it's being said to other players, other coaches, fellow teammates, and
to
referees.
To the refs,
as well.
Of course.
So it's all over. The refs get a full run of it. And one thing that I want to give a shout out to is no refs, no game. No games, right? This is something that obviously was just kind of shout out to the public and was also just released, and we're going to get more to it here on the Game Sports Show, another edition when we have a full segment or two to go into it, and we have some interviews lined up for that. But I want to give a shout out to No Refs, No Games, and it's cool, like all the branding is in Sault Ste. Marie, and you know what, with that, it fits right into this, because you have the refs that are getting abused on the ice, and this stems from players, now even to parents. But like I said, we're not going to jump into a full kind of discussion about it. I just want to make sure I give a shout out to No Refs, No Games. And with the issue in hockey, I'll say right now, I think the big reason of it is because of the accessibility to the technology that they have. Okay, I'll say right now, look, you big fan of this hockey player, Drew Doughty, okay? But he has been known for somebody who is pretty vocal when he's on the mic, and he's the player who's mic'd up a lot. And he has slipped and said a few things. He's never got in trouble for it, so I'm not making accusations of it or anything. But there's some recordings that are used on some podcasts in the Western Alberta, and I won't mention that particular podcast in general, but that uses a couple sentences that he used towards another player. So what are kids doing a lot these days? Phones. What are big in the world of sports today? Podcasts and broadcasts. And you have these kind of stories that come out, the swears that come out. So in the youth hockey, they're saying, oh, this player is saying it, why can't I say it? So that might have a little bit of the factor, but I'm not saying, hey, take off phones, take off broadcasts, let's make it all non-explicit. No, keep everything the way it is. This is where the onus comes on the parents with the children and with the coaching, which, you know what, you got to make sure it's caught. But if the youth are not able to contain themselves in a situation, they got to be taught. It's going to be, some actions are going to be, have to be learned from, and you learn from mistakes. Mistakes are going to happen. But a C quadruple shows that there has been no improvement.
Well, I mean, it's got to come down to the coaches at some point, where if one team's got more than one of these penalties, that's clearly something that the coaching staff hasn't decided to talk about or acknowledge. So, I mean, maybe the league's got to start looking at dishing penalties out to certain teams as a whole, as opposed to just these minor or major penalties.
See, and you have coaches who get an extra zero on their paycheck every week for the volunteer their time. And we appreciate what they do, just from a show perspective, saying that we appreciate the volunteer hours and everything. But maybe there needs to be more training to players, not just coaches. Maybe there has to be more opportunity to learn how to be more heated situations, more education that way. Because school is teaching topics, and I won't even jump into educational topics right now. That's not what our show is about. But it's very important for our youth to be brought up with this media world that we have. I think it's awesome with the broadcast, the podcast, the NHL accessibility, all the videos, all the closeness of it. It's great. We just got to make sure we're able to control our youth in the heated situation, despite if they're 8 or if they're 18 years old. It's important that we are recognized as testosterone in a game, and also just the competitiveness with female hockey as well. It comes around with all genders of hockey. So you have to make sure that you're able to contain yourself and able to maintain focus. And as this story continues to develop, the Game Sports Show will bring more forward. But I want to make sure I give a special again shout out to No Refs, No Games. It's a big part of this. We'll make sure we do more talks on that as the show goes on, and as I mentioned, more talk about this as this story develops. But make sure, please, keep it classy on the ice to your fellow competitors. One thing I want to jump into as we have a little bit of time, the Toronto Maple Leafs. Okay, I'm taking my host hat off here and put my fan hat on. Okay, the reason why I wanted to bring up the Leafs is because, yes, we had a little Canadian team update. As you see, I didn't really jump into Toronto. This is a team last night, which was Monday, against the Florida Panthers, that was up 3-1 near the end of the third. Had a goalie in Michael Hutchinson who, yes, let a lot of softs in at the end, who was not busy. I know our producer Jake Moore is probably not going to like what I say. I'm not, as a Leaf fan, I'm not sold on Hutchinson as a backup goaltender, despite how solid he has played. This is just me, because once I get kind of doubts in players, I feel like it's hard to really bounce back in Toronto. And I feel like Hutchinson going into games cold is not beneficial to him. But then you have a team who just let him out to dry in the third period. And Florida has been one of the top teams in the National Hockey League with coming back. Yeah. But that's a team that lost out on a 4-point game last night. Yeah,
it's Toronto's 9th time this season having the lead going into the third and losing the game, not managing a single point. If they have 9 more points, they're in the third divisional playoff spot by a mile. They're way ahead of Florida.
Yeah.
That team
without Barkov, too, man.
That team looked so good in the first and the second. I couldn't believe it. I was like, well, where's this effort the whole season? Third period comes. Oh, Matthews scored at the beginning, kicked up the feet, and they just didn't care. They said, Hutchinson's out to dry.
2 goals, 58 seconds.
I don't know. I'm getting real tired about this team. It's just so chaotic. It's just so up and down and up and down. I think what you see is what you get, a bubble playoff team that's just not good enough defensively, who doesn't care enough. And if they make it, well, good for them. You're going to get swept in the first round, so what's it matter?
Well, hopefully if they make it playoffs, a different game. But that is the perfect way that you've ever said it, Alex. It's like, whatever. This is what we're getting right now. And if Anderson gets hurt, if he's gone long term, I know he practiced today. I know there has been official reports of him being ruled out against New York. As far as I know, he has been ruled out against New York. But here's the injury, okay? This is the second time I believe he was hit in the period. I believe that was the second time, and it's not for Trano's fault. I'll tell you right now, it's not for Trano's fault.
It's not really anybody's fault.
It's nobody's fault. I know Muzzin getting a little bit of blame. He's just playing hard on the body, okay? Anderson has been hit numerous times. Between him and Tuukka Rask and Carey Price, I think those are the three goalies that have been hit the most in this National Hockey League. And overall, without Anderson, the Leafs are nothing. Okay? So I'm going to say right now, if he's hurt and Hutchinson's the guy, okay, it's going to be... But you know what? You can't doubt Hutchinson either because you got to help the guy in front. He's actually been playing good.
His last 4 starts, his save percentage, I believe...
9.49?
Yeah, something around that.
4-0?
Which is incredible.
Yeah.
And for that majority of that Florida game, he looked solid. The last start before that, he looks sound in that net. But the team has to want it just as much as him. And they don't. They just don't.
They're not good enough defensively. That's one thing I said. They need a defenseman.
They're just not good enough, period. They've got good things about them. A lot of great things about them. But if you can't fire up your team to get out there and go play, it's just... I'm done. I'm done with the Leafs, okay?
We'll talk about it more on our Thursday show.
Sure. Yeah, that sounds fun.
That's been our professional side with Hockey Talk. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to be jumping into some NBA discussion here on the Game Sports Show. Welcome back to the Game Sports Show. We got some NBA discussion here now, Alex. Mm-hmm. Okay, and the overall in the NBA, special shout out to LeBron James. I know we haven't had a show since Friday. I know that's a little bit of news that's a little bit older. Obviously, you could check out, of course, with our friends on ESPN with Michael B. Jordan doing a tribute video. It was fantastic. LeBron James' speech, was fantastic. And when he said that, I have paper and time, but you guys don't deserve that. I'm going to give you something from the heart. I actually started clapping out loud at home. Like I felt LeBron James just went up a little bit more in my respect. And despite that the Lakers lost the game to Portland, that was such a beautiful ceremony. So I want to make sure that I give a shout out to the LA Lakers organization for what they did. It was fantastic. But the NBA in general, we want to jump to. I want to talk about something with the Toronto Raptors, and that's going to get a lot of people engaged with the Raptors. You've been hearing rumors, 2021, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Oh, I wish too. Trust me, I hope that happens too. But
I think there's a good shot.
I think there is too, and I hope it does happen. But how impressed, Alex, are you with this team? They battled, okay, maybe a Toronto team should take note, okay? Take note, you know which team I'm talking about.
Passive aggressiveness here from Dave today.
Okay, the Raptors had no Kyle Lowry for a bit. No, not Mike Lowry from Bad Boys. They didn't have Kyle Lowry in the lineup, okay?
Mike Lowry.
Okay, they didn't have they didn't have Gasol in the lineup. Sorry, I'm getting my Gasols all messed up. You didn't have Siakam. Siakam, probably your best player. No offense to Kyle. Sorry, I know
your best player.
Yeah,
your best player, without a doubt.
So you had guys step up: Boucher, Davis,
Hollis Jefferson.
Yes. Fran Fleet was also hurt for a couple games as well in between all that. And this is a team that's still one of the top teams in the standings. Like everything with the Raptors has just made sense. Their whole thing, when you looked at their team last year, not only was their starting five good, their bench 5 or 6, 7 or 8 was better than some other teams' starters. And it's still the case this year. This team is deep, deep, deep. And I love it. And Masai Ujiri didn't go out in the offseason and say, here Kawhi, here's $30 million. Oh, and here Oklahoma, here's 75 first-round picks to, as you would say, cripple our organization. The Raptors have shown that they are a deep team, that they care about winning. I like knowing how that feels like for one team. But also...
Are you okay, Dave?
No, a little bit. I'm all over the map.
Have you been hurt?
I kind of have my host and fan hat on at the same time. I'll just keep the host hat on for a second.
So I'll take this Leafs fan hat and
Yeah,
just put it over there.
The Raptors, because we're talking the NBA. This team has shown how deep they are.
It is incredible. God, Nick Nurse does not and will not ever get enough love from the American media. I mean, he's coaching the Canadian team, right? The ability that he's made just to have a system where these players can rely on each other no matter who it is, whether it's the last guy coming off the bench or your Kyle Lowrys and your Pascal Siakams. They have made it work despite the countless injuries to be still the third best team in the NBA right now, only behind the Bucks and behind the Lakers, and the Raptors are currently
They're ahead of what team? The Clippers. They're ahead of the Clippers.
Ooh.
Who's on the Clippers? Okay.
Who knows?
Some dude.
Just kidding. Thanks, Kawhi. Thanks for everything. We miss you. Yeah. But the Raptors right now have won their 11th straight game, tying their franchise record for the third time. I don't know what to say. Nobody would have expected this. At the beginning of the year, I said the Raptors will probably be around a 5-ish, 6th seed. Easily
I said
coast
second.
into the playoffs.
Just saying.
Yeah. Easily coast into the playoffs, and they are completely above and beyond any expectations I had, or I'm assuming most people have. So I just want to see that if a team can truly do it without a bona fide superstar.
So they're not going to add.
No,
they don't need to. Thank you. They don't. So people come and say, "Oh, the Raptors, they should go out and get Karl Anthony Towns." Was one thing I heard. Okay, Serge Ibaka, who I didn't mention at the top. Sorry, Serge. Your leadership is impeccable, man.
Yeah.
So this team is deep enough. They're deep enough to make a run.
You don't need
I know Giannis Antetokounmpo is on the Bucks, and the Bucks are a very good basketball team. Okay, but this Raptors team can beat them. Even Miami's impressive. The whole NBA this year, the Warriors being in last because of injuries. When they get a top pick, it's going to suck because they're going to get another good basketball player there. But overall, the Raptors have shown that the right group of guys together can win. Nick Nurse coaching the All-Star game with Team Giannis. I know that with Kobe, they're going to do tribute to Kobe and Gianna, right? So 2 and 24 are going to be the jerseys worn. LeBron's team is wearing 2 for Gianna. And then, of course, Giannis' team is wearing 24. So you have Nick Nurse, who's a part of that coaching. Everyone doubted him, too. I don't know where anyone would doubt Nick Nurse. This guy is a genius as well. The whole team is just great. You know who the big part of this is, who we got to say thank you for from Canada? Masai Ujiri. Thank you for doing things right with this team.
Reports going out that the New York Knicks are interested in him when his contract expires.
Oh, I imagine every team is.
How could you not be? Guy's a mastermind.
He is literally a mastermind. Don't go to the Knicks.
Don't go anywhere.
Nothing can help the Knicks right now, I don't think. I'm sorry. Professional.
Except for RJ Barrett.
Or Spike Lee.
Homeboy. Let's go, RJ.
Or Spike Lee.
Or Spike Lee, yeah.
Nonetheless, the Raptors, should they add or keep it as is? I'd say keep it as is. The All-Star game, going to be a great little tribute. The Raptors winning despite all the injuries. Biggest mess up that we'll jump into on Wednesday is we did talk about last week with the Minnesota Timberwolves. That organization, whoa, fire sale that whole team. Angels start from scratch again. Maybe the Raptors will get Andrew Wiggins. Just saying. Alex, Dave, when we come back, we got some local roundup here on the Gain Sports Show. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the Game Sports Show, and I love that new bumper.
Booyah Bill.
Booyah Bill. Who's that guy?
I don't know. It looks kind of familiar.
If you can guess who Booyah Bill is, I will buy you 10 wings at Sports Center.
What do you mean? It's obvious who Booyah Bill is.
Well, if you want 10 free wings.
Wow.
I just said that. Now I have to do it. So guess who Booyah Bill is? You know who Booyah Bill is?
Yeah, I've got a...
Who is it? You don't answer that. You can tell me after.
What do you mean? I want 10 wings.
Comment below after.
All right. Okay, I'll do that.
Great job. Shout out to Jake and, of course, Aaron, who do a great job as always.
And me.
And, yeah, were you a part of that?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean,
You did something.
Thanks, Dave.
Just kidding. Awesome stuff. Just kidding. He is the heartbeat. Oh, man, that's
okay.
Okay, local sports roundup here, okay? Hounds. You're my trustee with the Hounds. You do make more games, I do admit. I try to cover everything as best we can. The Hounds, they were 2-1 this past road trip. Obviously, I felt that was successful. They had Peterborough and Kingston where you got wins. Loss against the Ottawa, which technically they got 2 empty netters. So,
yes.
So Malik stood on his head, from what I gather.
Goodness, yeah.
This is a team that 2-1. That's actually they're a couple points out of the 8th spot.
I don't know. John Dean was quick to take a lot of the blame for their loss against Ottawa, where there was a call against them, and he started beaking the refs, and they got a bench minor because of it. So he was quick to take the blame on themselves. And like I say, week in, week out, it's not an effort problem. They just don't have that game breaker player like a Barrett Hayton or like your Quinton Byfields of the OHL, right? Yeah. Coming up, it's an important homestand for them. If they're trying to get back into a playoff spot, they're going to need to pick up wins, but it ain't easy. Yeah, Kitchener, Guelph, Niagara, and Saginaw. And the only real gimme game, if there is one, I would say it's probably against Niagara, because Kitchener, Guelph, and Saginaw are all definitely making the playoffs, without a doubt. And I mean, gotta love the matchups against Saginaw just because their team is so good. And it seems like those
They're my team to win. Sorry, I know we're in Sault Ste. Marie, and we cover everything with the Hounds. I'm not doubting that the Hounds, if they get in, they can't do it. But just when I look at a team, I would want to model my team after Saginaw and their seriousness to win. If you're a player in that locker room with Saginaw, you're sitting there going, wow, our GM really trusts in us to win. People are like, wow, we make all these trades. Really, they obviously don't. They do. When an OHL or a junior team sacrifices a lot of their future, that means that they trust their core nucleus of guys. Right. And as a player in that locker room, you got to be excited.
Well, you've only got a 4-year period on average in the OHL, right? As long as you're not an overager. So, like you say, you go, oh, they're trading everything in their future for us right now. Well, I guess we have to go for it. And I mean, for the Greyhounds, when you're going up against big teams like that, it's a measuring stick game, as we like to say, right?
We love that term.
But some of these games, we can't have measuring stick games anymore. We need points on the board. And as much as the Greyhounds can go, well, if we were in the East, we would be in 6th or 5th spot. That doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Are you?
No,
you're not.
They're not. They're in 9th place with a lot of work to do. Like I say, it's not an effort thing. Just that talent is just almost there. And I want to give props to Nick Malik already. I mean, he's already the best.
Kid's a stud. We've been saying that since day one. He's a stud.
Already best on the team for goals against average. Already the best for save percentage. As a 17-year-old getting his first taste of OHL action, what more can you ask for? I mean, you gotta love it.
Oh, that's our future. We're gonna. You know how we used to chant "Juice" for Kajewski?
Oh wow!
Bring back the right. We gotta make up one for Malik. Is it? I don't know.
No.
Sorry,
no, it's definitely not that.
I don't know what this. I don't know. I don't know where I went with that. But anyways.
Okay, you know what, Dave?
I want someone to come up with a chant for Nick Malik. Okay, I want to get it started. Something creative. Comment below as I got producer laughing at me in the background. Nonetheless, we have Nick Malik and we're very happy. I think getting into the playoffs would be so imperative for this young team, just for crucial for the development. I think it'd be huge for a lot of these young guys to get into the playoffs, and I hope that they do. It wouldn't be a successful playoffs. Maybe it will be, but nonetheless, the Sault Greyhounds are in action this week, though, obviously, and they got a big schedule, as Alex was saying, coming ahead, so we'll see for that measuring
4-game homestand. Get out there. Support the boys in red and white.
Support them, yes. Get out there. That's what I want to see. I miss that old atmosphere at the Gardens. I don't want to we'll not jump into that. Just support this local team through thick and thin.
You have a lot of fire in you today.
Oh, I don't know what it is. I really don't know if it's
caffeine before the show?
No. Huh? Maybe it's that cup. Get me all excited that you have. LSSU we're going to jump into right now. They lost to the under-18 team, which is a very good hockey program. People were like, they lost to a bunch of 18-year-olds. No.
Yeah, it's USA Hockey.
Yeah, I don't know where people think this is not. This is a very good program, and you know what? I think they dropped a very close game in that. Right, as 5-4 was in that game. They played very well. The Lakers. The Lakers are 8-19-3, 7th place in WCHA, a couple points behind the race, and this is a team that plays Michigan Tech this Friday and Saturday. Big rivalry games. Lakers still have a chance to kind of salvage the season. They've kind of improved a little bit, and hopefully they can kind of take that performance against the U18s and make it a successful victories for this weekend, because that was actually a good outcome against the U18s. Those are some good young hockey players that are going to be playing in the National Hockey League in the very near future. That's all I got to say. And they'll be on the World Junior screens next year or the year after.
Right, and for anybody that doesn't understand the skill level, that's your Patty Kanes of the future. That's your Austin Matthews of the future. That's your Cole Caulfields of the future. These aren't chumps. These are really skilled hockey players.
These aren't the guys you see in the backyard or in Sault Ste. Marie Men's League. No offense, there's actually a lot of good hockey players in Men's League. But nonetheless, the NOJHL we're going to jump into. The Sault Thunderbirds, Eagles, and Beavers are the team that we jump into. Obviously a win against Espanola, win against Elliott Lake, win against Blind River. Loss against Blind River was Thunderbirds last weekend. They play Elliott Lake Saturday, and they play Rayside on Sunday, do the Thunderbirds. And you know what? They hold the third spot, and obviously they've clinched a playoff spot. You got to think the Thunderbirds are going to be that team in third place this year.
Remember at the beginning of the NOJHL season where we're thinking about hitting that panic button and we're just not used to the Thunderbirds season starting off with so many losses?
T-Bot.
Laughing now. We're laughing now. Playoff spot.
Goaltending acquisition has been very impressive.
Yes.
In that 7-1. Like he's obviously, goaltending is what's big with all our local teams. Sault Thunderbirds, Eagles, and Blind River, and even Rayside. David Bowen, they got goaltending. Okay, this is going to be, the playoffs are going to be beautiful in that. If you have all four goalies standing on your head, you might have 1-0 overtime wins with both goalies making 50 saves.
Wow.
That could happen. That's not even unrealistic. That could happen in these playoffs. Sioux Eagles, they defeated Espanola last week. They're in Espanola Wednesday. They have Blind River on Saturday and Elliott Lake on Sunday. The Blind River Beavers had a win and loss against the Birds. And the Blind River Beavers slide down second in the East.
Surprising.
So it's kind of... The Blind River team, they have one of the highest scores in all of Canadian hockey in Sayre. And Blind River is a team that I felt was a favorite going into this year, and they still are.
Yeah, I don't think them sliding out of first place is going to take anything away from that.
No, the big thing is the defensive and goaltending structure with Rayside has been very successsul. Overall, the NOJHL looking status quo as we've had it. Thunderbirds and Eagles, wouldn't that be kind of sweet how that turned out? If you have Rayside, the Sioux in the second round, whatever it may be. But having Espanola play the Eagles in that 4th, 5th kind of spot before you go play the top seeded team, that's going to be a series. Watch out for Espanola. Watch out for Espanola. You heard it here first. Sioux College Cougars update. I'm going to give two little updates. Basketball, they've won against Canadore College this past weekend. And Sioux College Cougars, the organization, and throughout everything is looking very positive. Give them a check out on Facebook and Instagram. Quick update here. Not this weekend. Next weekend's the big Winter Classic game. We got tickets. The Game Sports Show's got tickets. We're going to be there. We're going to be supporting Sioux College Cougars to play against West Virginia. And that is on the 15th. Make sure you get out there to enjoy the Winter Classic with the Sioux College Cougars. Well, we're going to take a break. When we come back, Alex and I will give you In the Pocket here on The Game. Show. Dave, Alex, getting to the last portion of the Game Sports Show here from ONNtv Studios. Now, Alex, Super Bowl.
Woo!
Okay, we had the Chiefs and Andy Reid eating all the cheeseburgers in the world and spending time with his wife after the game and just winning his first Super Bowl in 21 years as a coach. Love seeing it. Last time he made it to the Super Bowl, Donovan McNabb and Terrell Owens were his players, his weapons. 31-20. The Chiefs were down by 10 going into the fourth quarter with 8 minutes left. You want to tune into that game at the 8-minute mark and be like, nah, this is over. I wish I would have placed a bet on the Chiefs come back because they've done it all year.
Patrick Mahomes, at that point in the game, you saw when he made that long pass, I believe it was to Tyreek Hill, that he was like, oh, wait a minute. I'm effing Patrick Mahomes. And from that point on, he relied on his arm a lot more, and it seemingly went, the Chiefs are coming. And they put their heads down, got past that. terrific Niners offense and pulled out the big dub.
Shanahan on the backside of another comeback loss.
Right.
Poor guy. You know, you will have your time, but just not yet. And Mahomes was the cover of Madden this year.
Is the curse
The
broken?
curse is broken.
The Drake curse is broken with the Raptors winning.
Yeah.
The Madden curse is broken with Patty Mahomes winning.
Now you have the Bieber curse in Toronto, the Leafs. But not everyone. That's not a thing. But you have the Kansas City Chiefs. That what I was really impressed by is they were able to contain the running of the San Francisco 49ers. They forced Jimmy G to throw the ball, which he's got a good arm. He knows how to throw the ball. Okay, but the Chiefs defense are very good in the deep threat that I felt with Tyrone back there. You got Matthew back there, right? You got those players that are back there that can contain that deep threat, and that is what the Chiefs wanted the San Francisco to do. Now, obviously, the defense, people are going to say, well, they weren't that great. It was 31-20, that 20 points. Nah, that's a little bit to be deceiving. I think the Niners are a very good football team. They capitalized a lot of their chances for the first 3 quarters. They really contained the game and controlled play until Mahomes went Super Saiyan 3. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that I was just happy about with this Super Bowl was the fact that it's 2 teams we don't normally see in the Super Bowl. There's no Patriots, and they're both excellent teams. It just made for a game where if you're a casual viewer, which the NFL does a really good job of trying to capture that casual viewer to keep them around with your Super Bowl halftime performances and whatnot like that, this is a perfect game for the NFL to brand themselves around.
You got the Super Bowl halftime show. Everything was very exciting. I was like literally at the edge of my seat the entire game. I felt it was very quick moving. The anticipation and the excitement in the game was great. But how'd you like the halftime show, Alex?
I'm not really big on the halftime show, no matter who's performing. Like I don't really care.
Really?
I just want the game to come back on.
Listen. I felt like I was back in the early 2000s. Okay, and maybe people may not believe how old I am, but I was born in '91. Okay, so I saw a lot of the Sugar Rays. I shot the Boys Men, the Backstreet Boys. You know,
Wow.
Now, I'm not talking about the Super Bowl halftime show because I don't think all of them were on there. But say the generations of music, right?
Right,
And
okay.
J-Lo and Shakira were, obviously I wasn't big on listening to J-Lo and Shakira a lot when I was younger, but these were obviously prominent women that are on the front stage of singing, right? Shakira, wherever, when she's doing all the dancing. You got J-Lo, who literally can still dance better than some 20, 30-year-old
Better than us.
I don't know about better than me. I think I can contain with J-Lo. Nonetheless, that was a great halftime show. Okay, they're beautiful women. I'm going to say it. The looks are still evident with them. Their dancing is superb. The Barstool videos, yes, I gave Barstool a little shout out with the kid with the mouth open staring at the halftime show. Yeah, that was literally everyone, not because of who they are, how they're dressed, because of how they're able to still perform to that level.
Yeah, it's actually pretty impressive.
It was.
Tip of the hat for that, for sure.
Obviously, I think there's a little bit of issue when it came to lip singing and singing. I know there's a little bit of that, but you can't be dancing like that and singing, okay? There's only one person that can really dance and sing like that. It's maybe Britney Spears and Madonna. Maybe Britney Spears, I said.
Maybe.
Okay, maybe Britney Spears. But that's hard to do. Their talent, that was all show. That's what that was. They're singing, they're great. We know that. They probably sang a little bit, but their dancing and entertainment was what was huge.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't really care for the halftime show. It's just a longer halftime. Like, I'm ready to see these guys go at it again.
And they went at it, and Damian Williams was huge on the Kansas City offense. I thought he could have been a guy who could have got MVP.
You know who's go ahead. No, I'll let you
but
finish that
I
thought.
think Williams actually should have given Patrick Mahomes a run for money for the MVP.
Yeah, it's almost seemingly like when in NHL, for example, the video game, where the Conn Smythe will always go to the goalie for the playoffs. It's almost seemingly like the quarterback will almost always get it in the NFL just because that's who's leading the team. A non-factor, I want to say, for this game, Richard Sherman. Man, what I'm glad about with Richard Sherman is with his skill declining a bit, because he's not in his prime anymore, his beaking has gone down a little bit too, and rightfully so, because he got burned quite a few times.
It's like they realized, Kansas City, that they have a high octane offense in terms of speed.
Oh, they will kill you with speed.
Okay, we have Tyreek Hill. Maybe we should use that speed in the deep threat. It might work because we got someone named Patrick Mahomes back there that can hawk the ball about a good 50-plus yards.
And they didn't seemingly do that until the third quarter when they were down by 2 scores. But like I said, as soon as Patrick Mahomes went, oh yeah, I'm Patrick Mahomes, and started taking the chances throwing the ball, success came their way.
Is Patrick Mahomes now the next dynasty quarterback? I'm saying yes, and that's all.
What about Lamar Jackson?
You know what? That's a very good point. Those are going to be two perennial all-stars in the NFL. I still think I didn't think Lamar Jackson would do what he did this year.
Nobody did.
No, if he does the same next year, I'll say yes to that. Patrick Mahomes has been successful for a couple years in a row now.
Yes.
Okay, so we saw that. That is why last year I've said the same thing about Mahomes. Give him another year, see how he does. Okay, and I felt that Mahomes was going to be a stud. Anyways, Lamar Jackson needs to see one more year with him, but he has the tools. He's Michael Vick 2.0. Okay, that's my opinion. I think better than what Michael Vick was. Yeah. Obviously, we broke a record this year. So I really think that Lamar Jackson can be, but next year I'll be able to answer that question more.
For me, for Patrick Mahomes, he's got everything that it would take. To be a dynasty quarterback, you have to win, though. And if you can keep winning, nothing's to say he's not going to be one of the next greats.
Rate the Super Bowl out of 10. 10 being, 0 being, ugh.
Honestly, I was on the edge of my seat for the whole time. I'd probably have to give it a 9. The momentum shifts. The momentum shifts in that game were exactly what you want out of a sports game, where you go, oh, this team's going to win. Oh, no, this team could win. Oh, but this team could still do it. That's the stuff that it tells the best story when it comes to sports. Got to give it an easy, solid 9 out of 10.
See, San Francisco seems like they gave up at the end there, which really was... But I get it, but I kind of wish they would have fought a bit more. I never know what can happen. But I'm going to give the game, I'm going to do a decimal, 8.5. Because I wanted to do 9, but I'm not taking it. I'm going to do 8.5. Okay. And the reason why is because it was always exciting. There's some times in the game where a little slow moving, right? But a big part of it is the game at 8.5, but the entertainment at 10. And the reason why I say that is because I felt the halftime show was great. Okay. And the commercials were fantastic in the Super Bowl. I'm sorry, people's doubting them. I liked them, especially the Jimmy Fallon one.
That Google commercial, I wasn't ready for that. I didn't bring a box of Kleenex out with me. Don't do that again, Google God. I'm gonna tear up thinking about that commercial.
It was unreal. Now, last thing within the pocket, because on Wednesday, tomorrow from Sports Center, myself, Jamie, the crew, our Wednesday crew at Sports Center, we're gonna be talking in the pocket. We'll get into more, but Tom Brady rumors.
Ooh.
Do you think people are taking it too far? Don't answer that.
Okay.
Or do you think people are accurate? Is he going to be a Charger? Is he going to be a Patriot? Is he going to be a Raider? Heck, is he going to be a Dolphin? Is he going to move on, or will he retain and stay in New England? Got lots to talk about tomorrow within the pocket at SportsCenter. So make sure to tune in from that. 9 o'clock we'll be there. And make sure to check out our new website. Make sure to check out ONNtv. Make sure to check out every platform we're on. And I must announce before we leave tonight, Spotify and Apple we are on as well now. So you can follow us not only on Podbean, but Spotify and on Apple. I'm David. He's Alex. So thank you for joining us tonight, as always, here on the Game Sports Show. Thanks to Jake and Aaron in the back for making me look, sound good, and everything of such. And to everyone here on ONNtv, and to you, the listeners, most importantly, and the viewers, most importantly, for being a part of our family here on the Game Sports Show. Until next time, have a great night. Booyah.